All right, y'all, for the first worksheet, we're gonna go ahead and just do watercolor pencil. Okay, so all of the boxes or shapes on here are going to be with my my watercolor pencils. So watercolor pencils are water soluble, so meaning that they dissolve in water and basically they create paint when you activate it with water. Okay, now a couple things before we get started. Make sure you're using the hand sharpeners in your black bins in order to sharpen these ahead of time. Never put these in the electric sharpener because essentially you're just grinding paint into the electric sharpener. Also, never sharpen these by the end cap. Otherwise, you're not really going to know what color they are. This is also a really expensive brand of watercolor pencil. It's called Derwent. It's a British brand. Love it. Okay. So first things first, I would have a couple colors sharpened up ready to go. So I'm going to use purple, blue, and green for this. So the main thing you want to think about when you choose the colors is make sure you hit this right here, which is analogous colors, okay? So have one set at least of analogous colors, okay? So analogous colors are side by side on the color wheel. One color goes into the creation of the other. Your color options are as follows for this. You can choose yellow and orange and pink, orange and red and pink, red and violet, pink and violet, violet and blue, blue and green, or green and yellow, okay? So I think this will be on the slide that I share with you all. So right now I have a blue-green analogous set. Now, random side note, pink is actually not on the color wheel. It's a tint of red. It's a lighter version of red. I always include it in our analogous color sets just because I always get them in the class packs for you all, okay? So the first technique that I want you all to start with is the dark to light. So I have a color sharpened up, ready to go. I'll zoom y'all in, okay? And what I'm going to do is just apply hardest pressure here, gradually fade it out as I go across the box, okay? So I'm gonna watch my craftsmanship on this as well. Okay, so try and keep that color inside the box. So hard pressure, letting up to medium pressure, letting up to lighter pressure, lightest pressure, and off like so, okay? I'm gonna do that exact same thing here. You could switch colors. I am not, just in the interest of time. Okay, so again, hard pressure, medium pressure, lighter pressure, lightest pressure, and off. Okay, now if you look real quick, you'll notice that my color is inside the box. It goes gradually from dark to light, and it doesn't look scratchy and kind of like that. Okay, so I kind of overlapped my strokes as I went along. All right, so this is what we call a base fade. Okay, so for most of these other techniques that we're going to do, we always kind of start with just blending a color out to the white of the paper. Okay, now for the analogous color blending, as you guys know, this is my favorite type of color blending to do. So colors that are side by side, I already know that these are side by side on the color wheel. Life is good. I'm gonna just double check and see which of these is the darker one, and I'm gonna do this exact same base fade here with my darker color. Okay, now if you can't identify which one is darker, it's not the end of the world. I just think they blend a little bit better together if you do start with a darker one. Okay, so again, base fade just like here, except with a different color. So hard pressure, medium pressure. Okay, lighter pressure, and off. Okay, so I have something that looks like this. I'm gonna do it again, right over here. Again, feel free to switch your color set, use the darker of your two analogous colors. And again, you're choosing things that are side by side. So hard pressure, medium pressure, lighter pressure, lightest pressure, and off. Okay. All right. Now for this one, what I'm going to go ahead and do for the analogous is bring the green in from the other side, and I'm going to apply pretty decently hard pressure until the white of the paper goes away. Okay. So I'm going to bring this over top. So hard pressure, still hard pressure, still hard pressure. I'm going to start to let up the pressure in here as the white goes away, letting up, letting up, letting up, letting up, letting up, letting up, and off. Okay, so I have something that looks like that. Okay, so it's a color blend. If I feel like it got too much of my second color, I can bring a little bit of blue, medium pressure on top, blend it out, like so. Okay, I'm gonna do this exact same thing here again. So again, with your second lighter color, hard pressure. Okay, letting up to medium pressure where the flecks of the white start to go away, medium pressure, lighter pressure, lightest pressure, and off. Okay, and if it looks too much like the second color, hard, medium, and light with that initial color on top. So it's looking like that. Okay, now just a real quick reminder before we move on to the bottom two is essentially I have just applied dried paint to my paper. There will be a second video that shares with you how to add that water, and that water does activate it and turn it into paint, so it's pretty cool stuff. Now for the bottom two, this is hard because eventually you're going to do what's called a dark to light to dark again. In a curved shape, it is a butt kicker thing, so just keep that in mind as you move forward. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. In fact, I think I'm going to switch colors. Let's try this with just the green here. With dark to light to dark again, the lightest part is in the center. So essentially I press hard, medium, lightest in the center, medium, and hard again. Okay, so watch me do this real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and press hard, let up to medium pressure, let up to lightest pressure in the center, press a little bit harder, just a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, hardest pressure, and off. Okay, so you'll notice the highlight is in the center. Let me try that again because I really was not focusing on that. Okay, hard pressure, medium pressure, lightest pressure, a little bit harder pressure, medium pressure, harder pressure, hardest pressure. All right. So you'll notice the highlight is in the center. Okay. Now, really quickly, I'm going to apply that exact same thing here, except I'm going to do it in a circular fashion. Okay. So I'm going to convert this to purple just because, I think you'll be able to see it on camera better. That's the only reason why I'm doing it this way. Okay, so I'm still going to keep the highlight in the center of my circle here, but I'm going to curve my strokes kind of in like a C shape and then a backwards C shape. Okay, so toward the outermost part of my circle, I'm going to go ahead and do my hard pressure. Please try and hit that top and bottom of your shape there. There we go. Okay, so hard pressure, medium pressure, and lightest pressure. Okay, I'm going back over a little bit of this medium pressure just to kind of get it. There we go. Okay, so right now I've curved my strokes. You don't really see any lines separating the pressure. Okay, so I have something that looks like that. All right, I'm actually going to flip my paper because I'm right-handed. It's easiest for me to do the left-handed side of my circle, so I'm going to do this exact same thing on this side. Okay, so hardest pressure toward the outside. Medium pressure, and as I get toward the center, I'm letting up the pressure, but then my strokes are almost straight up and down. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in and fill in any gaps. So I missed this little spot here, missed this spot here with the hard pressure, adding a little bit more medium. Good. Okay, this is looking good. All right, so I have something that kind of looks like this. I'm going to do this again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press hard toward the outside, Again, I have my most curved strokes toward the outside, letting up to medium pressure, less of a curve. Don't forget that top and bottom. Lighter, medium, almost straight up and down. Lightest pressure, straight up and down, okay? And I'm going to kind of correct this before I flip my paper. Okay, so I missed a little spot here, missed a little spot here. Boom, done and done. Let's flip. All right, do the same thing on this side. Okay, so curved strokes, hard pressure, medium pressure, a little bit less curved, lighter medium pressure, lighter pressure, lightest pressure. Okay, so if you don't curve your strokes on this, what will happen is it'll look very flat instead of like a sphere. Okay, so essentially I'm doing my sphere shading using a watercolor pencil. Okay, now at this point in time, this whole worksheet, let me zoom you out, this whole worksheet is completely done. Okay, right now I've got my dried paint on it, okay, just ready to activate with water. We'll talk about next time how to add the water here. You'll notice that it's kind of smeary, okay, so this is just all the flux of that dried paint ready to go, ready for you to add water, okay? So make sure that as you create this, that you're doing this along with a video, that you are watching your pressure, watching your direction, and that you sharpen up your pencils before you get started, okay? Please double check that you are choosing an analogous color set for the analogous color blending,